Top of the link bar, there's a bush, you have to undo that nut. There's the other bush on the bottom of the link arm, you have to undo that bolt. Undo the nut and pull the bolt out. Then there's your sway bar, there's one of your U-clamps that you have to undo. And there's the other one on the other side, on the sway bar. This is the other side now. I've already took the bolt, the nut off the top of the link arm there, and the nut off the bottom here. That just wants the bolt taken out now. Now this is a view from the other side. Air ratchet, makes light work of these. These are well seized on. Couldn't get it off with a spanner. As you can see, it sheared it off, so it wasn't going to come off. I just checked the other two off as well. Once all this is out, I'll paint that chassis bar there, that crossband, clean it all up, give it a good wire brushing, get some black hammerite on it as well, as I'll be doing with the sway bar as well and the link bars, clean them all up. And there it is on my motorbike bench. All rusty and crappy. Make a note of which way the rubber bushes go on, because you slide them over with a slot in. Just make a note of them. The link bars, it doesn't matter, you're just pushing the bushes out and putting new ones in. As with this sway bar, but those clamps there have to go a certain way. And these are the brackets that you tighten onto the back of the U clamps. Good cleaning, hammerite, and they look like new. And this is how I remove the bushes. I'm only going to show you one bush to removal. I don't have to show you them all. This is one on the sway bar, this. I just used a big socket, a long nut and bolt, pulled it out. And I used exactly the same process to put the new ones in. I'll just show you how to put one bush in, the same process as I'm taking it off. I mean, there's better tools that you can get for removing bushes and putting them back in, but I didn't have one, so I just made do with this. Did the job. Now that one's all been hammerited. Now I'll put some hammerite on it. Now this is a silicone spray that I got from Screwfix. Here's a picture showing you what it is. £2.99 for a can, does the job. Right, when you're tightening this up and getting it just right, make sure that the bottom nut is central into the bush. Don't have it to one side, so you pull one side of the bush in first and make it skew with. You're just going to damage it. Make sure the bottom the nut is lined up central at the bottom and the one at the top. You'll see now, I'll try to get my hand in and holding it central. I'm only showing you one bush that I'm putting in because I did the same process on both link bars and the sway bar. The silicone just helps to lubricate it sliding into the metal fitting. Obviously most of my videos, they're all long, show you how it's all done. There's a big long process to it all. It's not an hard job. You just fast forward, you don't have to watch it all if you don't want. Yeah, pushed in, that looks pretty good. You're not going to get it any better with a better tool. Does the job. There's the other one. Did the same on the link on the sway bar. And there they are, all done. There's the sway bar bushes in, everything's painted up, new shackles. Bit of ammonite on them as well. A little bit awkward on your Todd putting this back on. At first when I put it on, I tried to lift it on and put this bolt through on one side, but the bolt won't go through, obviously because the sway bar's on an angle. And then I realised and just put a screwdriver through just to hold it in place. Just so I can go around the other side and do it. There you go, crappy screwdriver, won't drop out now. Now I can come around the other side. Lift it up and the bolt goes straight through. Right, the nut that goes on here has an oval. I think it's called a swage nut. There might be different names for it. It's a nut that has, it's slightly been pinched on the end, so it's sort of like an oval shape. It locks itself on when you tighten it up. There are probably different names for it, but I think it's called a stove nut. That's what they call stove nuts. You see it? It's got a slightly oval to it. When you tighten it on, it's straight, it's round at the back, but on the front part, it's got a slight pinch to it. So when you tighten it up, anyway, back to the sway bar. If you look on the front crossbeam, there's two slots that these rubbers fit into. Can you see the two downward slots on both sides? Well, the rubber has to fit into that. If it doesn't fit into it, when you put the U-joint on, it won't tighten up good, because you've got those two parts that you can see the lines going down. They're sort of like molded outwards, so it's keeping the rubber from going on fully. So make sure you put the rubbers in the middle of those two slots. There's me just giving it a little tap. Before I clamp all this up as well, I go and take that screwdriver out and put the new bolt on, so don't be thinking that just stays in there and I forgot. Yeah, just little taps to get it along so it fits in them gaps. Really, this is another simple job. Yeah, we know it's awkward and there's a lot of marling underneath, lying on your back. But another not difficult job, just a lot of crawling about and it's awkward. Get them in place. This has the these clamps, these U-clamps, they have the stove nuts on as well. When I bought my Autodoc, they give you all the fittings, all the nuts and the clamps, but they don't give you the new brackets to go on the front that you bolt on. So you have to use the old ones, clean them up and paint them like you see me do. I don't think these bushes had ever been changed in 30 years. They was well cracked. So I'm not sure how it passed MOT. See the two slots coming down on the crossbar? You can see it there. So the bushes are in line. However, you might notice now when I push that on, those stove nuts won't go on. So you have to use two ordinary nuts that you can just spin on. Because you've got to clamp it and pull the rubber in tight into those two slots that are on the back. And you'll see what I do now. Put two just ordinary nuts on and tighten it up to pull it tight, and then when it's pulled tight I take one of the nuts off, put a washer on, and then I can put one of the stove nuts on, and I repeat that process on all four of them. But I'll just let you watch the video and you can see how I do it. Yeah, there's the washer, and there's the new stove nut. But it'll only screw on so far, then it hits the oval part and won't go any further. Now you start to tighten up, because you won't be taking this off again now. So tighten it to a certain point, and you can take the other nut off at the top. Now I'll just nip it up like I did with that bottom one, and then I'll move on to the other side. I'm not going to fully tighten them up yet, I just want it to be held in place. Now I'm going on to the other side. Same process, exactly the same. It's exactly the same there, just can't get the stove nut on a washer on, so you've got to use just an ordinary nut. I did use a G-clamp to see if we could squash it, but that didn't work, so just get a nut on it, top and bottom, and do what you did on the other side. Now you can just fully tighten them all up. You don't have to torque these or anything, they're just U-clamps. Tighten them as tight as you can possibly get them. Hand tight. They're not going to come off these stove nuts now. They won't come loose. Yeah, there we go. They're finished now. I won't have to touch them again. Yeah, finished. that side's done. And here they are all tightened up. That's fully tightened now. I don't have to show you tightening them up. Bolts through, stove nuts on there, washers, all fully tightened. See, they're all lined up in the two little slots. Same on the other side. There's that one. And the one at the top's exactly the same. And that's it. Job done, finished. Not difficult, just awkward. So get it done, guys.